Yo, what's up, guys? This is Dave Koda, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
All right, Dave Koda, what's up, man? How are you? Congratulations with the new single. I've been bumping it, and I really love the vibe, the feel of it. Talk to me a little bit about Let Go and the creative process of it, because to me, like, it gave me this, like, old school, like, Swayze and Cisco type of vibe, like, beachy type of vibe. Talk to me about the creative process of that and what inspired this vibe.
And so, first of all, I appreciate that, and thank you for having me right off the bat. I actually wrote this song about, I think it was like a year ago now, and truthfully, like, found the beat on YouTube, which like a lot of people have like told me not to do, but I love finding people on YouTube that make beats like that. Like, it's just, I think it's a great creative place, and I think I found some pretty cool stuff on there to make songs out of. So I wrote it about a year ago, like probably like last summer. And it was just basically, I was going through a time where myself included, and then a lot of other people in my life, I kind of noticed like human beings, we just have a natural ability to not do the thing that is good for us. Like, it's very easy to create obstacles for ourselves and just kind of like keep us from what we're really supposed to do. I actually ended up reading this book called The War of Art around this time, and I forget who it was by, but the basic message of it is us creating resistance in our brains that keeps us from doing those things. And often the things that scare us the most are the things that we're really meant to be doing and should be doing. And so I just wanted to write a song about the kind of blocks that we create for ourselves, whether it's other people that we use to push past things, or drugs, alcohol, partying, that kind of stuff, whatever we use to create a sense of, I'm not going to do this right now, but maybe if I just like let go of it and do it, that's going to be the best thing. And I just wanted, it was a catchy little beat, a fun little thing. And it's kind of fun to write, not sad songs, but thinking worthy songs on fun little beats.
What really kickstarted like the track? Was it you listening to the song on YouTube, like you mentioned, or the beat on YouTube, like you mentioned, or was it like a particular lyric that kind of kickstarted it and like made you kind of just flow out the rest of Let Go?
Yeah. So for this one in particular, I think it was just, I heard the beat, and then usually when I write songs, it just kind of like a line will just kind of come to me with like some type of melody, and I was just like, no, baby, I can't let go. And then it just kind of developed into the rest of the song. I don't really sit down too often and write songs based off a topic that I have in my head. I do sometimes, and honestly, those are probably, in my opinion, the best songs that I write. But usually it's just off a feeling that I hear when I first hear the music.
Another cool thing that I noticed about you is your delivery. It's very it's different from everyone else, and it's kind of like you kind of make your own path in a sense. Talk to me about your delivery and what really how did you learn to deliver your lyrics the way that you do? Is this something that you've been kind of trying to develop over the years, or was this just a natural process for you?
So it's funny, when I first started making music, I started making music in 2015. And I was like strictly rapping, and like did it up until last year, or around that summer. Actually, around last summer was when I really like started to change my sound a little bit. And like I was like sticking on the YouTube beat train. I was like looking for like Juice World type beat, Trippy Red type beat, all that stuff. And then I started to listen to new artists, and I was kind of just not feeling like myself within that genre. Like, I just kind of felt like I was always putting on a front for other people. But that Let Go was the first song where I kind of transitioned from strictly rapping into like, okay, I'm more of like a catchy, I don't know, I would call it more of like an alternative feeling type song, or like an indie type song. And my stuff that's out now, before Let Go, is definitely more indie. Like, I sang a lot on it and stuff. But growing up, like for those first 5 years that I was making music, I was doing like strictly like boom bap rap and like lo-fi type hip hop, and like even trap sometimes. So that delivery where like the verses are mainly like almost like rap verses, are that definitely stems from years of just that sound, of me making that sound, and now it's definitely transforming, and I love where it's at.
Was atmosphere ever artists that you kind of listen to, just because I get a vibe of like the way he kind of story tells in a way, or in a sense, like I kind of get a small little vibe of that on your music.
I've honestly never heard of. You said Atmosphere.
Atmosphere.
I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to
You,
check them out. I have no idea.
you definitely have to. You definitely have to. It was reminiscent at one point about it, and I was just like, that's really cool because I grew up with that kind of like underground
Yeah,
rap, like underground hip hop and stuff, like Dilated Peoples and Atmosphere.
yeah.
So yeah, definitely check it out.
I,
But
I could tell you. I could tell you for that track specifically. Someone I started listening to around that time was Dominic Fike, who's
oh
like
yes,
one of my favorite artists right now. Like I just think he blends those. Another dude that came from like a very very much Southern Florida hip hop background. Like when I started listening to him, I was like, oh, like I could do what I want to do with also like stuff that I've done in the past. And that's kind of Let Go was definitely heavily influenced by Dominic, like heavily.
that's amazing. You mentioned Juice World and Trippie Redd earlier, and there's an artist that I was just recently talking to. He just signed to RCA. His name is Mason, and he's almost in that same kind of realm
Yeah,
of music. But I mean, that's someone that you should like probably check out too, in case like that's
sure.
something that kind of like excites your music. But you know, as far as back to Let Go, like I loved in the beginning, like the little whistle and the fact that the whistle was an instrument. Was this part of the beat that you had discovered, or was this something that got added after when you started working on the track?
First of all, I appreciate that question so much. You have no idea. That's just something that like I was in the studio and usually so how I record is like I just I try to take it like how the song will start. So like I think for Let Go, it starts with I'll do a chorus, then I'll do the verse, and then after I'm done with all the little because I like adding a lot of layers to my voice. Like if you listen to Let Go, especially in the end chorus, there's like 3 different layers that are going on. Like I do the regular singing voice, I'll do a low take, and then I'll usually add a high take. And then when I'm done with all that, I like to just like I'll tell the engineer, whoever I'm working with, I'm like, hey, just play the track, and I'm just gonna do whatever, like just make shit up on the spot, basically. And it was it was a Lil Nas X record that I was listening to at the time. I forget what it was, but he whistled in it, and he auto tuned out of it, and I was like, that sounds so cool. I want to try that on one of my songs, and it just happened to like work and Let Go. And it took me like 17 takes to do it because I'm really not that good at whistling, and like it just sounded really like airy, like I was just like breathing into the mic for a lot of it, but we finally got it, and I was really happy because that was the first time I've ever done something like that on a song, and it just sounded cool to me. So
No, it really added to it. And I love when, you know, artists get creative with sounds. I love when they don't go straight to the drum beat or they go straight to like the guitar or instrumentation. I love when they like kind of create something from scratch.
yeah.
So that's cool. I kind of hope you continue to do stuff like that with you know, all your music, just because it's like, I feel like it kind of gives you a new perspective of the song, you know, as well.
Yeah, there's a song that I have out right now that came out around March, I think, called Unrequited Love. And I do kind of the same thing in the beginning where it was a lot more like humming. And like it was just one of those things where I was like, hey, just play the track, let's see what happens. And it turns out to be this like really cool like I really like how music doesn't always have to have lyrics for it to like hit you a certain way. And like that's the whistling and that part in Unrequited Love are just one of those times where like I made that part and I was just like, oh man, like this just made me feel something. And like Kanye does that a lot in his music. Dominic does that a lot in his music, where it's just humming and sounds like Kid Cudi's a massive one for the humming. Like just stuff like that, just to make sounds just really cool and just adding on to the voice is an instrument at the end of the day. And like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Well, I appreciate, you know, everything that you went through for this track. And you know, what's next for you? What are you working on, a body of work? Like, are you kind of letting the singles game kind of happen while this? It's such a weird time for the industry or for the world right now. So like, I feel like it's hard to kind of decide whether you want to do a full album or an EP or just let a single like live as much as possible.
Yeah, it's tough. So I mean, Let Go just came out. I'm super happy about that. That's my first release since I don't know early 2020, and what a year 2020 has been. Um, I have another song coming out September 9th or 10th. That's like my baby. It's going to be called Jenny. That's like my favorite song I've ever made. And then another song coming out with Birdhouse Records, early October, called Snooze. Outside of that, like I have an EP that I've been working on, and that's like getting mixed down and finished up right now. And then after that, I kind of just want to start working on a big collective album body of work and get into that. But like you said, dude, this has slowed down everything. Like really just because for me, I like before this year, I was releasing music under a different name, totally switched, and just started releasing music, and things kind of started to pop off a little bit. And I really felt like my career was just starting to get going, like for the first time in 7 years, as long as I've been doing this. And then like it happened, and it's like slowing down. I mean, obviously like things are still happening. It's really great, and I'm really happy for that. But it definitely like just put a little bit of a hit the brakes on it a little bit. So it's definitely tough.
Right. No, I bet. But I feel good about Let Go. So, you know, I'm sure it'll get you back on those charts. So
I hope so.
So congrats once again with the track, dude. And I definitely look forward to doing this again. Hopefully in person by the next time we get to catch up, and hopefully there's like more material that we could just geek out about.
Yeah, man, that'd be great.